So basically, using some of the models that Tina showed you and some of the archaeological models like the medieval castles, we actually decided, well, I decided back in class that I was going to bring it and show my students how to use SketchUp. So we used a software and it's absolutely free and you can download it and it will allow you to start modelling in 3D, which is allowing you to develop it through SketchUp and Trimble SketchUp. So what is it used for? What is actually 3D used for? Can anybody think of any answers for me? Any 3D? What can you use 3D modelling for? For games? Buildings.
You see things at different angles.
Very good. So you see different things in different angles. So you can use that in architecture, construction, engineering, very similar to SolidWorks, which students are using at the moment with making their projects for engineering. You can use it for, say, planning your kitchen. You can use some of the models that already exist in Trimble SketchUp and apply them to your models. So, as I said, I got the Trimble SketchUp and I showed my students, I introduced them to this type of software in my classroom, and it's very easy to use. The tools are up at the top and I'll show you it later on. But you're able to build houses and use some of the pre-existing models that are actually on Trimble SketchUp. So what did it involve? What did I have to do? Well, back in school, I got the IT coordinator to download the Trimble SketchUp for me in all of the computers in the classroom. I selected one of my classes, my literacy and numeracy class, because I only had them once a week, and I decided that we were going to build the models together. Now, I demonstrated with them on how to use it, but they were so engaged in this that they loved it. They really, really were very engaged. So, back in the class, we decided ourselves that we were going to build it on the Newgrange model because we had to pick an archaeological model or a science model, so we had decided that we were going to build it on the archaeological model. So I introduced them to Newgrange, what it was, the prehistoric monument in County Meath. I explained, where it was located. They had to do their own research on it. They had to look up their own dimensions of it and look at the plans, the construction of Newgrange, and they researched it themselves first. And then they used SketchUp to build these models, and as I said, they found it very engaging and they loved it. So first of all, I showed them the pre-existing models that were actually on SketchUp, so the after, so what they could use, what it was going to have to look like. Then I showed them what I did. So I used the dimensions that we researched initially. I used the dimensions to build the model itself. And the only thing that I couldn't come up with was the roof. Okay, I didn't know how to design the roof on Newgrange, but fortunately I have very bright, intelligent students and they came up with the roof themselves. So I'm just going to show you some of the samples of the students' models. And so that was one of them. Then our second one, another example there. Now he didn't get a chance to finish the colours and the textures of the model. And then there was another one. So in that class I had 2 students with autism, and we decided that we were going to, as part of the project, that we were going to pick the model that had been developed by the student with autism because he went into a lot of detail in his model. So Sean's model, as I said, he has a diagnosis of autism, but he has excellent IT skills and he was very zoned into this project. And he built it, and you can see just his example of it, that he went that extra step. Now, in class, he's developmentally delayed, but as I said, excellent IT skills, so much so that he went a step further. After I had given them, say, 2 classes on developing this model, I gave them an extra one to see where would they go with it, and he actually went into the interior of the model. So, whereas the rest of them kind of didn't have the interest in it. But, so that was his model. So then afterwards, what we did with SketchUp, we exported the model using Augment from the markers that Tina and Kevin showed us earlier. We used a marker and exported it into Augment so that we could see it. So you could see it here, that we augmented it in here. And I'll just show you a demonstration of our model Augmented.